This video is designed to familiarize you with the rootsTrust menu bar. However, I'm only going to talk about those menu items that have no toolbar counterparts or do not correspond to buttons on the person view. You are presently looking at the person view. Looking now at the rootsTrust window, you see that it has a menu bar at the top. That's because I'm making this video on Windows. On Mac OS or Linux, rootsTrust conforms to the operating system by using the global menu bar, which is always located at the top of the screen. Thus, the rootsTrust window would have no menu bar of its own. The menu bar of most programs, well, at least Windows programs, starts off with File on the left. I decided to replace the word File with Database, which I find to be more appropriate for the rootsTrust application. Let's look at the database menu commands. First, we have Open Existing. This lets you open a different database from the one currently open, assuming, of course, that you have more than one database. You can only have one database open at a time, so when opening another database with this menu command, the current database is first closed. Import GEDCOM file. I skipped one, sorry. Start new. This command lets you create a new empty database and optionally include a moderately large collection of place descriptions, about 1,600, and a list of common sources such as all published US, UK, and Canadian censuses. Import GEDCOM file. This lets you create a new empty database, as the previous command does, and populate it with the contents of a GEDCOM file. The current database is, of course, first closed. I'm not going to import a GEDCOM file at this time, but I would like to show you the form that is used to specify your input options. At the top of the form, you can list any file cabinets that contain the document and multimedia files that are identified in the GEDCOM file, if any. By checking the appropriate checkboxes, you can optionally have rootsTrust create references or source citations to the GEDCOM file for each person, event, family, or image imported. You can also opt to include the collection of places and the list of sources that I mentioned under Start New. Next, you identify the input file, and finally, you supply a unique name for the database that will be created by the import process. There is a separate video that covers GEDCOM import. Export to GEDCOM file. This lets you export the current database to a GEDCOM file for importing into another program or publishing on a website such as rootsweb.com or familysearch.org. The output of this operation is a GEDCOM file which is stored in your export directory. The contents of the export directory can be inspected via the File Cabinet view. Under User, Export, and at the present time the folder is empty. The GEDCOM option form looks more complicated than it really is. Typically, all you need to do is select a target system from the top panel, which in turn sets the options in the other panels. If you need to customize your output for a different target system, consult the help file for an explanation of each option. Backup. I just successfully backed up this database. This lets you copy your database to your backup directory. You can set the location of your backup directory from the Preferences form, which you can get to from the Preferences entry of the option menu that I will be talking about very soon. My backup directory is in the cloud on my Google Drive, as you will soon see. Copy. This lets you copy your database to a location of your choice. Restore enables you to restore the current database from a backup copy located in your backup directory. This entry here is for the backup copy that I made just a minute ago. There, you can see that the file name has a date timestamp in it. Flash drive operations. These commands are only available if you are executing rootsTrust from a hard drive and you have a universal rootsTrust flash drive mounted in a USB port, as I do. You can then install a database on the hard drive from the flash drive or vice versa. Installation involves copying the database and adding it to rootsTrust's list of databases. If the database you are installing from the flash drive had previously been installed on the hard drive, it is simply replaced by its counterpart from the flash drive. The same holds true for the other direction, hard drive to flash drive. The universal rootsTrust flash drive is a specially formatted device that houses the rootsTrust program, your database or databases, and the file cabinets that house your document and multimedia image files. It works on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. This drive, if not presently available, will soon be available for purchase at rootstrust.com. All commands available under Edit, save one, have button counterparts such as Add Mother, Add Child, etc. Only Add Person, None Relative has no corresponding button. Use this menu item when you want to add a person to your database that does not seem to be related to anyone already there. I'm reasonably sure that this individual is not related to anyone in my database. The Options menu has only one command, Preferences. When you select this command, the Preferences form will be loaded, which has 7 tabs you can use to customize rootsTrust to your liking. For more information about this, please view the detailed video on Preferences. I mentioned before that my backup directory was in the cloud, and here you see it defined on my rootsTrust, on my Google Drive. Since all the functionality exposed by the Search menu is available via the Search button located on the toolbar, the subject will be covered in the toolbar video. Tools. All the tools available on the main menu bar are also available on the menu bar and the toolbar of the Event Detail form, which I will show you. Here's the same tool menu, and here are the corresponding buttons on the button bar. On the toolbar, excuse me. At this time I will demo the simplest of the tools, the Roman to Arabic numeral converter. Some older church records show the year component of event dates exclusively in Roman numerals. This tool is an aid for those of us who have forgotten how to read Roman numerals greater than 10. So if I enter mmxiv into the Roman text box and click Convert, we see that the tool has converted the input value to 2014. The Reports menu gives you a choice of 8 different report types, all of which are generated as RTF files that can be edited with most word processors. I will quickly generate one report, a narrative, to show you how it works. A narrative is a textual, paragraph-oriented version of the data found in the person view. Notice that the narrative options form allows you to selectively suppress segments of the person's record from the report. And there you have the narrative created for that individual from the information in the person view. Please watch the reports video for detailed coverage of all report types. The commands on the maintenance menu allow you to create and edit custom area labels that are used both by the place detail form and the place view. Event types, event roles, patronymic name types, and source types. Let me show you what I mean by area labels. So if we click on Alberta, Canada, we see that it is a province within Canada. If we click on Alexandria, Virginia, we see that it is a city within the state of Virginia, and so forth. These labels up here are the area labels, and you can customize them. Let's create a new event type for Eagle Scout Award. First, from the menu bar, I select Maintenance, then Event Types to display the event type editing form. Then I click the Add button, and now, being typing challenged as I am, I select Military Award, from the combo box to clone its fields to save typing. Now I change the description, the event type name to Eagle Scout Award. We leave the default male and female roles as they are. And I replace the contents of the description field with text that I have conveniently stored in another window, describing the Eagle Scout Award. And now I change in the narrative sentence template a military award to the Eagle Scout Award. This is what rootsTrust, this template is what rootsTrust will use to generate a sentence for an Eagle Scout Award event when producing a narrative report and certain other reports as well. The syntax is discussed in detail in the help file. So here we have narrative sentence template, and here we have a discussion of the syntax. So if you're interested in that and need to change something, want to understand how this works. So now I click, whoops, I misspelled Scout, Scouty, Eagle Scout Award, okay. Now I click the Save button and then OK. Now when I click on Add Event and select the Custom tab, we see that our new event type has been added. If we select the Ordered List vertical tab and open the combo box, type an E, we see that Eagle Scout Award has event type is here as well. So let's go back to the maintenance menu here. The update submenu of the maintenance menu has a number of commands for clearing and propagating ancestor flags, recalculating soundex codes, and reestablishing the beginning of life and end of life events to be used for each person on tree charts and other reports. It is likely that you will have little cause to use any of these commands, with perhaps the exception of the two commands pertaining to the ancestor flag. For example, suppose you have just imported a GEDCOM file that has about 8,000 persons in it, some of whom are your ancestors. So how do you mark the ancestors? First, you navigate to the root person of the database by clicking on the root. Okay. Next, you click on the Sundry tab down here and check the Ancestor checkbox. It's already set here. Then, if you go to the Maintenance menu, Update and Propagate Ancestor Flag to Ancestors of Root Person, rootsTrust will now walk your entire family tree, marking the ancestor of the ancestor flag of each ancestor it finds in the database. Similarly, you can use the Reset All Ancestor Flags command to turn off all ancestor flags if you want to change the root person and change his family tree. User Index. The User Index menu has commands for creating and deleting user indices. A user index is a user-defined subset of some database object, such as person, family, place, source, or repository. The menu also has a command for editing any user index values that the current person might have. Watch the user index video for more details. This particular individual is not a member of any of the three user indices that I've defined for this database. Here is one of my user indices, which I created from a source work called The History of the Tilton Family in America. And many of the individuals discussed in that work are assigned a unique code, which I refer to as user reference ID. And that ID is associated with the particular person in my database. Demo videos. The demo video menu allows you to launch some of the videos available on the rootsTrust website, like the one you're looking at, for example. Bookmarks. The Bookmarks menu provides links to popular genealogy websites that are free of charge. You can add to or delete from the list or edit any bookmark in the list. So let's check out Ellis Island website. There you go. And then here's the Manage Bookmarks form. And you can select any one of these things delete it, edit it, or add new entries. The Help menu has several commands that can only be executed from this menu. They are General Help. Well, that's really not true, as you'll see. On the top we have General Help. Select this entry if you are looking for general information about rootsTrust, its features and conventions, rather than specific information about the operation you are presently performing. General Help can also be requested from the Help viewer by clicking on the General Help button on the toolbar of the Help viewer, not on the main toolbar. As you can see, the viewer has its own toolbar. Next is Help for the current view. This menu entry invokes context-sensitive help for whatever view or form or whatever view is active. If you are unfamiliar with the concept of context-sensitive help, please watch the video devoted to that feature. Context-sensitive help can also be invoked by pressing the keyboard shortcut for help, which is F1 on Windows and Linux, but command / or command ? for OS. The slash and the question mark are, of course, on the same key. Next, we have information files. These are just like help files, but they do not pertain to rootsTrust in particular, but rather provide information on a number of subjects of interest to genealogists. For instance, census information, general information about censuses. About rootsTrust. This menu item displays a standard About window that identifies the program, version number, vendor, copyright info, etc. About the splash panel. This menu entry displays a small form that describes the oil painting whose image rootsTrust uses on its initial splash screen, which is this image here. There are also links to the Wikipedia page for the painter, Samuel Waugh, as well as Castle Clinton, which is depicted in the painting, which is the predecessor of Ellis Island. And last of all, Getting Started, which redisplays the form that rootsTrust displayed the first time you executed it. It explains 3 ways to start a rootsTrust database: keeping Old Abe, which is the Abraham Lincoln database that comes with rootsTrust, starting a new database, empty database, or importing from a GEDCOM file. So that concludes the video introduction to rootsTrust's menu bar. Be sure to watch the videos devoted to the toolbar and the 7 rootsTrust views.